Hello, everybody. Hey, happy Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. It's already been a week, everybody. I hope everyone's having a happy holiday season, and I really hope you've started on your Christmas shopping. As one person who has procrastinated this year to hopefully not another, I really hope that you've got everything in a row. I'm so lucky to be joined today by Aaron. Aaron is the head of musical theater at Slippery Rock University, and it is a program that I talk about ad nauseum for a number of reasons that I will share with you today. So, Aaron, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, great. Super duper great. I would love to hear a little bit about your background as a performer and an educator and how you got to a school that I have never heard of.
Yeah, sure. So I've been a performer for most of my life. I'm one of those people that when I was, in first grade, I was begging my parents to be in the shows. And my family, didn't have a lot of performing backgrounds. So they're all like, what's happening? And I was playing the leads in the school shows starting at, in second grade and always wanted to direct and be a part of theater. So when I graduated from college, then I went to grad school, and after that, I moved to New York City and have lived there for almost 20 years. So I worked as a performer, I worked as a director, as a producer, as a casting director, as a dramaturg. I did a lot of different really fun, cool jobs while I was there. And the way I like to describe my career was that I'm really proud to be able to say I did a little bit of all the things.
Yeah.
So, I got to do, a couple Broadway shows. I got to do a couple new shows, old shows. I did a lot of regional shows, but, some of them were Shakespeare plays and some of them were new musicals and some of them were revivals of old musicals and turned on their head. And then I worked on the other side of the table. I directed some, I dramaturged some, I produced
Wow.
a feeture film, like all of these different experiences that I got to do a little bit of all of these things. And while I was doing that, I also was building my own studio. And essentially, I was one of the top audition coaches for Broadway theater actors in New York City. And that came out of a number of different relationships and partnerships that I had, and really turned into a full-time job for me, and I absolutely love doing it. I was working literally all day with Broadway actors in the studio, going, "Here's how we prep for our next big audition," and it was thrilling. It was one of the most exciting things possible. And simultaneously, the other thing that started happening because of that is that universities started sort of perking up, and they would bring me to their school, and I was doing 20 workshops a year at universities, kind of teaching them specifically the cutting edge, what's happening in auditions on Broadway today,
Yeah.
and how that is a constantly changing and evolving set of techniques and skills, and really focusing in on the career and that transition from college into university. So I started making all of these relationships with universities over that time period, and then the pandemic hit, and all of that went away, and I had no coachings, and I had no clients, and I had no traveling to universities, and all of that kind of happened all at the same time. And when that happened, I'm married, I have two kids, and we started sort of resetting and going, do we like this kind of nonstop energy of New York City, where I'm gone for months at a time doing a national tour, and then I'm coming back and I'm working all day? And we said, maybe we want to try something a little different. And simultaneously, a dear friend of mine had gotten a dream job. He had just started working at Slippery Rock University, and he got a dream job and had to leave. And so they had this really fast turnaround where they needed to hire someone in a short-term temporary position to teach all of the musical theater classes for 1 year remotely from New York City. And I said, well, that's kind of amazing. And it worked out. I interviewed, I got the job. And I said, well, this is perfect. I'm in the middle of a pandemic. I can't I can't do all of the things I'm normally doing. So I have this now full-time job for 1 year. I'll give it a try, see how I like it. And so over the course of that year, I directed 2 full-blown shows all over Zoom. I taught 6 classes. I met all the students. I met the faculty and the admin, and I just honestly, I fell in love with the vision of what Slippery Rock is really interested in doing. And so, we had conversations. They asked me to apply for the permanent position, and I started this fall in relocating to Slippery Rock to have the permanent tenure track position as head of musical theater at Slippery Rock University.
Oh man, that warms my heart. That is so cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool journey. Really cool journey. I didn't expect to be here right now, but man, am I excited too.
Thank you, Aaron's friend, for getting your dream job so that Aaron could be here today. This is great.
I know, right? It's amazing.
So, students and myself want to know about the curriculum at any institution they're going to apply to, especially when we're talking about pre-professional training. So what are the students required to take in terms of the 3 disciplines, voice, acting, and dance?
Well, the first thing that's important to know about Slippery Rock is the framework from which we're working. So Slippery Rock University has a BFA in acting with a concentration in musical theater. And the reason we do it that way, and that's part of that vision that I agree with and I'm really excited about. The reason we do it that way is because we are really focused on acting first. We really want you to understand and really have a concrete understanding of the techniques of acting and then use that to bridge into the other disciplines. And so, as part of that, we have a very rigorous acting technique training portion that is really combined with our BFA actors as well. It's a cohort, and you take all of your acting classes combined with that group of people. All right. So the way we do our acting training, at least initially, is we do 3 semesters, full semesters of 3 different techniques of acting. And the reason we do that is because we're really interested in developing unique artistry, not carbon copies of other things. And one of the ways that we do that is we believe that everyone should have their own technique. They basically learn a full deep dive of practical aesthetics, a deep dive of Uta Hagen, a deep dive of Meisner, and then they can pick and choose the things that work for them and create a toolbox that lets them really move forward as a unique, authentic artist. So we always start with that. That's your first 3 semesters. In addition, during that time, obviously, you're also taking our first level music classes, a musicianship and a class voice, where we're learning the various techniques of vocal performance. And then we move into sort of the upper level courses at that point. So during that time, our students are required to take 3 full semesters of dance. We again, because we're really focused on acting first, we have a less requirement there in terms of the number of semesters as some other places. But if you are a dance minor, which many of our musical theater majors are, then you could do it every semester, right? Oh, so that's how we pivot that, because for our auditions, the one thing we do not use a dance audition as a gatekeeper. You're not required to have a level of dance experience to join Slippery Rock University, but we will make sure that you progress as you're here. You also take private voice every semester while you're here after that first semester of freshman year. And in our senior year, we're still developing that voice curriculum, because that's something that I didn't say, which is, of course, the BFA is only 3 years old. We only have freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. So we're still in the process of developing that senior year and what it's going to look like. So we have some ideas about how we're going to sort of turn the vocal training a little bit and do some unique things with it in our senior year, but that isn't totally set yet. So I can't get into all the details of that. We also have acting for song, 2 semesters of that. We have a really important class called Wellness for the Actor. It's a class that the actors take in their very first semester at Slippery Rock. We are very committed to wellness-based training, consent-based training. And this is a place where we're able to set all of those guidelines that will help you really be successful in not only your college experience, but also in the profession. And we have a spectacular teacher who is nationally known for her wellness work, and really works on, helps develop our students in that way. It's great. Our students take directing, stage makeup, voice for the actor, movement for the actor, professional theater practice, which is our prep for the industry. And then I want to point out one really cool class that I'm particularly excited about, which is a class that we teach called Musical Theater Repertory. And we do something pretty neat with that. And it's basically a 3-semester sequence. And over the course of those 3 semesters, our musical theater students do a full-on deep dive into 3 specific areas of musical theater. They do a full semester of classic musical theater, just all the time classic. We do a full semester of contemporary musical theater. And then what I'm most proud of is a full semester, not, one unit of one thing, a full semester of pop rock musical theater. And we just feel that's such an important thing for our students as they're moving into the Broadway of tomorrow, which we talk a lot about, of where we're headed, not where we've been. And we know how essential that is. And so our students really get a full deep dive into that while they're here.
Wow. You set the bar sort of low at the beginning when you're like, oh, well, we're just an acting program. Here's all the musical theater stuff. That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
So I feel like I know the answer already, but do musical theater majors have the opportunity to do as many plays as they do musicals?
Absolutely. So we do 4 shows a season. As we grow, we're in the process of talking about how that season expands. But right now, with only 3 classes, right, we have 4 shows a semester, which does not include, of course, all the student projects and all of the, there's a million other things happening at any given time. But in terms of fully produced main stage shows, 2 plays, 2 musicals. We're really, really focused on new work. Last year, we did 4 world premieres. This year, we're doing 2 world premieres. And we usually have that in collaboration with our artists. We had Derek Greger and Sam Carner in town doing their brand new musical with us for a couple weeks, developing it on our students, writing new songs for them, rewriting jokes, changing characters. Like, it was absolutely spectacular. That's cool. We're really interested in those kind of projects. And our students are required, as a BFA, you're required to audition for all 4 of those shows so that you get the experience of not only auditioning for them, but also doing them. We did a world premiere play at the beginning of this year, and one of our freshman musical theater majors was the lead of that play. And then we're doing Pericles in the spring, and we have it's a Shakespeare play, and I would say well over half of the cast is musical theater majors.
Wow, that's awesome. Oh, I love to hear that. We have a couple of folks watching whose children are acting majors, but they also still want to keep their toe in musical theater.
Yeah. Slippery Rock's a great place for that. I mean, we really do. We really do create a cohort. And we really believe passionately that both of those groups, the actors and the musical theater students, really should be integrating and working together. In that world premiere musical that we did with Carner and Greger, we had 3 acting majors in that show with us. We really do everything we can. We look at everybody and really try to keep everybody integrated and working together.
Oh, I love that. So in regards to, students like what they would like to get out of their education, is there an opportunity within the BFA to study abroad?
So that's a really interesting question, and that's one of those things that is still being developed in terms of the BFA. What I can tell you is that, Slippery Rock University has had a BA in theater for almost 50 years and has a long reputation of developing really strong theater artists. And as part of that, we have a tradition of every 2 years taking a large group of students to Edinburgh Fringe Festival and bringing a show with us. So we bring a show, we usually develop it at Slippery Rock, bring it, do a world premiere at Edinburgh. Students get to see a million shows. I mean, record at this point is we had one student. I mean, it's we're there for 10 days, and we had a student see 65 shows, right? Totally amazing, right? It's an incredible experience, and we have this tradition. That being said, what we're also starting to talk about is what other opportunities do we have for our BFAs in terms of a more long-term experience.
Yeah.
And while we're still getting our feet wet in terms of the curriculum that we have on the ground here at Slippery Rock, we are just starting to have conversations with some other institutions really across the globe as we're talking about, okay, what else is possible? So we don't have it in place yet, but it's something where we're really interested in exploring sort of the global experience of musical theater for sure.
Awesome. So we mentioned a dance minor earlier to take all those dance classes. If a student wants to minor in something academic like journalism or business or double major, what does that look like?
Great. So because it's a BFA, it's really hard to double major if you want to get done in 4 years. We do have a couple of students who are double majors that are fully aware and planning to be there for 5 years. Okay. That's definitely a possibility, and we're happy to help support that if someone is really interested in that. If you are interested in truly double majoring, we really advise you to do the BA in theater and then double major with, quite frankly, a lot of different options, whether it's psychology or teaching or education, right? Or dance. There's a lot of ways that you can pair that education. And just to be really clear, our BA theater majors are eligible for casting in every show that we do. We have open casting for theater majors. So whether you're a BFA or a BA, you absolutely can audition, and we regularly cast our BAs. That being said, it's very hard to BFA and double major, but we absolutely strongly encourage the idea of a minor, and there's lots of different minors that pair very well. The one that's most common is the dance minor. We have probably about half of our students, and that continues to grow every year. So in our first year, we only had a couple, second year more, third year. As we're in the process of recruiting this class, it feels like at this point, almost 3/4 of them are going to be dance minors, just knowing the people that we're most hot on and really trying to develop relationships with. So it's not a requirement, but we just have a lot of people that are really passionate about that. And our sister program at Slippery Rock University is a nationally ranked dance program. It's an extraordinary dance program. It's been around for years and years, and we are paired with them. And our dance minors. What's really amazing is that if you are a dance minor, you level into dance major courses. And so you audition and they tell you where you're at. And then depending on what level you're at, you could be in, modern 4 with the dance majors, starting your freshman year, if you want to, which is really, really exciting. So, and that, like I said, is a really highly renowned dance program. So that's a really great way to keep those students really progressing at a high level if they're interested in doing that or have the training to do so. And yes, we pair well with education. We pair well with psychology. There's a lot of different things that you can pair a minor with. Foreign languages, a lot of people do. Some people do musical instruments. So there's lots of options there.
Oh, that's terrific. We have a question from Rosanna, who is asking, how big is the freshman class?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we've developed, every year we're growing, knowing that we eventually have a cap, right? So essentially we started off with relatively small classes. Each class has gotten bigger from that. And this year, what we're working for is a full cohort of 22 to 24. So that's the actors and the musical theater majors, right? Yeah. So 22 to 24. And depending on how that cohort works out, our musical theater majors are going to be 12 to 16.
Okay. Oh, awesome. That's a nice number. Yeah. Is there, I've been talking to colleges, and more folks are going in the way of digital showcases as opposed to let's get an off-Broadway theater for one night. What's the showcase situation at Slippery Rock?
So as you know, first of all, we don't have one yet because we're developing the senior year, right? And that one of the things that, quite frankly, is one of the reasons why I'm pretty sure that I got this job, is because that was so much of what I was doing, both in New York, but also as I was going to all of these universities. I was showcase prep, right?
Yeah.
I was working all of these students, trying to help them bridge that gap to the industry. So we are reimagining, we are imagineering what this wants to look like. The thing that I heard over and over and over again in New York for the 5-7 years leading up to the pandemic was that the senior showcase was dead, and that it just was no longer functioning as it needed to. And then the pandemic hit, and people just triple downed on that concept of this just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So while we don't have a plan in place yet, because we're still developing it, we are really interested in coming up with a model that really serves our student and also connects my industry contacts with the students. And we've been doing that all along. I'm really committed to every semester bringing professionals from the industry that can hire our students. As I mentioned, I brought Derek and Sam out. We brought choreographer Ashley Marinelli out for a period of time to really get to know our students. I don't know. Do you know Ashley?
I did Disney Cruise Line with Ashley.
Amazing. I love Ashley. She's fabulous. She came out and worked with our students. Last year, we brought out Devin Perry, a really incredible music director, Andy Colopy, Daniel Lincoln. Like, we really bring these people from New York and try to make professional connections. And we're putting together a senior year that really mirrors that, but is really focused on our seniors, where we're going to have opportunities to connect with professional theaters, with professional artists, with casting directors, with agents. Yeah. And have a digital component and likely have a capstone experience. So we're trying to take the best of all of those things and put together something that allows them to, instead of, like you said, sort of rent a theater and stand in front of a group of strangers for 3 minutes and hope you make an impression. You know, we're really working hard to develop relationships for our students, so that when they get out in the industry, they actually have people that they can really build a career with.
Yeah, boy, you nailed that. That's exactly it. All right, so this one's for the parents. Let's talk about tuition, room, and board. So if I'm coming from out of state, what's my bill going to run me for next year?
Great. So I couldn't be more excited about this. This is another part of that vision that I said, I have to get behind this. I'm so excited. This is incredible, because I know the experience of coming out of college and grad school and the costs that can be, right? And how detrimental that can be for students as they get into the industry. It's so essential that we keep it low. So part of we are one of 14 Pennsylvania state schools. And that means that the state really is supporting our students in a big way. Yeah. And that really does extend to out-of-state students. It's pretty incredible. So as an in-state student, your yearly tuition, just get ready for this. Hold on to your hat. I mean, because it really is so much less than everyone else, right? Yeah. Your yearly tuition as an in-state student is $9,000. That's it. Okay. Wow. As an out-of-state student, it is only $19,000, which again is just a fraction of the cost of so many schools. Now, I'll do one better, which is that if you are a student who is coming with a 3.0 or better and an out-of-state student, you're at $15,000.
Oh, no way!
So we do an automatic scholarship for any student with the grades that they need to really thrive, right? Totally incredible, right? And now, I said that, and now I'm double checking something because I got nervous as I said that. I want to make sure it's 3.0 and not 3.5. Hold on. I'm just double checking this. This will just take me just half a second because I don't want to give you the incorrect information.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Hold on. Where is this? That's housing. Nope, that's not what I need. I need tuition. There it is. Tuition and fees, tuition reduction. Yeah, 3.0. I was right. I got nervous and I freaked out. Okay. So, I mean, it's amazing. Totally incredible. Like, I mean, what school is able to offer this level of training for that kind of a cost? It's just incredible. Now, and again, our our room and board, there, as many universities, there's a lot of different levels of room and board. So our starting level, our lowest level is $1,700 a semester. So also incredibly reasonable. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is the thing about Slippery Rock, which one of the reasons I got on board so fast is I said, wait a minute, you're really doing it for this? And they said, yes, this is how we do it. And I said, well, that we can genuinely attract extraordinary students if we can start there, because the other side of that, to be honest, is that's our scholarships. We don't have a lot of merit-based or talent-based scholarships because we go, we've already given it to you. We're already 2/3 of the cost of most of the other universities. That's right. Or a third or a quarter of these other universities, right? So already we're so low that we don't have a lot of additional monies to give. And that's okay, because for me, I'd rather have everybody at that rate than one student at that rate and everybody else is paying, an arm and a leg.
Wow, you just lit up the parents' comments on the Facebook Live.
Good.
That's amazing. That's incredible. Wow. Lisa wants to ask, are the acting majors, are they taking MT classes as well?
Great question. So no, but they're able to, right? So we have an entirely separate acting curriculum that includes IPA and dialects, and includes other additional techniques in acting. They spend a semester with Chekhov. They spend Michael Chekhov. They spend a semester. They do all kinds of other really exciting work that's specific for the actors. That being said, as part of their electives, students are able to audition into the musical theater courses if they meet certain requirements. So we do have some BFA actors who are really interested in taking a specific class with the musical theater majors, be it a voice class or a repertory class or an auditioning class or whatever, and depending on their skill level as a musician, they can audition to join that. We do have a number of BFA actors who are dance minors, though. That is a pretty regular thing, cool. Pretty amazingly. We have a number of those, which is really, really neat to have. And there are some courses like the musicianship course and the class voice course that and the history of musical theater course. Those courses you don't have to audition in if you're just interested in taking those as an acting major or as a BA theater major. We have a lot of BA theater majors that jump into some of those as well.
Oh, cool. So Rosanna and I sort of had the same question. I was going to ask you, are you going to be at Unifieds? And Rosanna says, please share contact info and audition requirements.
Awesome. Okay, so this is a complicated question, and I totally understand that there's a lot of reasons for and against it. But we've decided for this year, we're not going to do the Unifieds this year. We were involved in a couple Unified type events in the fall, but we decided that for a whole slew of reasons that this year we're gonna sort of sit back and see how the Unifieds go, because I don't know how much there's a lot of shifting going on in that world. So we want to kind of see take a wait and see approach with that this year. So we're not doing that. That being said, we absolutely are doing quite a lot of auditions. We still have a ton of auditions to go for our spring season. So essentially, we are doing our pre-screens through Accepted.
Right.
And so the audition requirements for our musical theater majors is 1 monologue and 2 songs, and a wild card video. And for our BFA actors, it's 2 monologues and a wild card video. We're going to go through those pre-screens here pretty imminently to start deciding our next round of callbacks. We have 3 in-person callbacks planned for the spring, 1 in February, 1 in March, and 1 in April. And all of them, we really are encouraging people to try to come to in-person callbacks more for them than for us, to be honest, because, you know, we really can evaluate you very fully through a virtual callback. And we do have some students who financially just can't make it. And we totally understand. We don't want that to be a barrier. And we absolutely are willing to do a virtual callback for people.
Yeah.
But we know, I know from my own personal experience how essential it is to be on campus, actually walk around, see what it feels like. You know, we intentionally schedule all of our callbacks on the weekend of production, so you get to see a main stage show while you're here. You get to really walk around, get to know the students, get to know the campus, get to know the faculty, sit in on classes. Like, we just feel that's such an essential part of the experience, so that you're, you know, ultimately we both have to make the same decision. We both have to say this is the right place for us, for you, or else ultimately we're set up for failure. So we really want to make sure that it's the right spot for you. So that's sort of our plan for the fall,
Cool.
for the spring. And like I said, we're flexible if we have to be, but we really do try to encourage people to come on campus.
I saw on your accepted page that deadlines for the pre-screens are rolling.
Yeah.
So should students plan to, you know, start having those in by like the end of the calendar year?
Yeah, so here's the honest truth. It is rolling, and what that means to us is that to essentially we have several deadlines for each of those next callbacks, right?
Oh, I see.
And so basically what happens is anyone who puts in their audition packet before this date is considered for this callback. And then anyone who puts in the packet for the next date is considered for the next callback. And we have a final callback, you know, at the end of April for that reason, to incorporate anyone who comes at us late and says, you know, we really are interested in your school and we want to be considered. And they maybe found us very late in their process. That being said, the inverse is also true, which is that as the year goes on, more of our slots get taken, right? Because it is a rolling admission. And so what happens is, through the course of the fall, we've met a number of students that have offers or are on our wait list. Then in the spring, that will continue and more students will move off the wait list. As we get a picture of what our cohort actually looks like, we go, great, that person we now know we can commit to and build the rest of our cohort around, move them into a spot, give them a spot in the class, and continue to look for the remainder of the class. Right. And that's really an important aspect to know, is how our wait list works, which is exactly that. Basically, the way we talk about our wait list is that we are only putting people on our wait list that we are genuinely over the moon about. We are so excited. We think you are a perfect person for Slippery Rock. We're not just capturing people and throwing them in there and seeing what happens down the line. Like, we really are interested in you. And our idea is that we just, because of this rolling admission, we don't have all the information yet we need in order to put together that cohort of people that we think identity and personality and uniqueness all are going to blend together as a really exciting group of humans that get to work together, right? So that's the process for us, is that we have a couple people already that have been accepted. We have a handful of people in our wait list, and we're in the process of seeing the people come in now for our next audition. Our next audition is end of February. So anyone who comes in between now and it's like January 12th or something, all of those people are in the February bucket. And then after that, you're in the March bucket, and we keep moving from there.
Great. Last parent question here. Will you be offering summer programs for high school students? My daughter is a junior.
Cool. Not this year, but it is something that we're continuing to talk about. We're pretty excited about the idea of trying to find some opportunities to do that down the line. Right now, we're still getting our feet wet in terms of the first 4 years and just trying to get our senior year put together, and then problem solve the things that, we really are. The best way to describe this is we really are trying to imagineer a better way to educate and a better way to go into the industry. And so as part of that, we're trying things. We're throwing things against a wall, seeing what sticks. And if it doesn't, we're really continuing to have conversations with our students, with our parents, with our faculty, and going, how do we continue to do this better? So it's going to take us a couple years to get our feet under us, because we know, and then after that, continue to adjust as things continue to go. So it might be a little while before we get a summer program. I don't expect, it's not in like the next 3 to 4 year plan, but I do know that eventually we'd like to try to do that kind of thing.
Awesome. Aaron, I have had just the greatest time learning about this university and getting to know you. I feel
Yeah.
like we are soul brothers in terms of like joy and inclusion and growth, all the shimmer and sparkle, man.
So important. It's so important.
So before we say goodbye, I want to remind everybody, tomorrow is the big masterclass about getting on a school's radar and getting off the wait list. That's going to be tomorrow night right here on the College Audition Pros Facebook. Do not miss it. If you are a parent of a junior or a sophomore, this is the one to attend, because we're going to take away all that stress and give out good vibes and just let the wind carry the anxiety away so that you can do this all stress-free. And don't forget, the summer intensive, we got 11 schools coming to Orange County, California, including Penn State, Aaron. Coming to Orange County, California next summer, end of July. It's going to be an incredible week. And don't forget, we have a pre-New Year special rate. So if you really want to come, we're taking about a third of the price off if you register before December 31st. We got 11 schools. We got mental wellness for the actor, financial aid for families. We got 2 Tony Award winners who are coming to do master classes. And at the end of it, we're all going to Disneyland. So I would encourage you to sign up before the end of the year. Aaron, thank you so much. And if you have any questions for Aaron that we didn't cover, I will forward them to him and I will get the answer for you. Thank you again so much, my friend.
Should I give contact information?
Oh, yeah, please.
Great. So if you'd like to reach out to us directly, BFA Theater with an R-E. So BFA THEATRE at SRU, slipperyrockuniversity.edu. That's where we have all of I check that email 15 times a day, and happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Take care. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.